Hey YouTube! So I hope everyone's been having a great day. I wanted to talk about how I cope with anxiety because I think the first thing I need to do in order to work on my anxiety is be honest with myself and eliminate the unhealthy coping mechanisms and try to replace them with healthier and more productive alternatives. So there are a lot of ways that people cope with anxiety. Some of the more common and healthy methods include deep breathing or journaling. But there are a lot of not so healthy coping mechanisms, such as the use of drugs or alcohol. Now, for myself, I tend to turn to alcohol and cigarettes. However, I want to be clear smoking is an addiction, absolutely. Anyone who is a smoker or a former smoker knows how quickly you become addicted and how difficult it is to break that addiction. Now, I started smoking innocently enough. What I mean by that is I didn't start smoking to cope with anxiety, but eventually it became a coping mechanism for me. Now, I have quit many times and sometimes for months at a time, and I always tell myself this one cigarette to help me through my anxiety won't hurt. But every time I wind up back where I started and trying to quit. So if you're a smoker who's thinking of quitting for any reason or have just recently quit, trust me, there's no such thing as just one. That said, for me, drinking is strictly a coping mechanism. As long as I'm not feeling anxiety symptoms, I don't drink and really don't even like it. I could take it or leave it and would probably choose to leave it. The problem is that when I do drink to cope, I drink until I can't feel whatever it is I don't want to feel. Not that I think drinking is ever a healthy way of coping with anxiety or stress or anything, but drinking to not feel certain things really crosses the line into dangerous territory. Not only that, both smoking and drinking, particularly drinking, are known to not only not help anxiety, but actually make it worse. Alcohol actually messes with your brain chemistry to make you more prone to anxiety. I've known a lot of people who have questioned whether they started drinking to cope with anxiety or whether their drinking caused their anxiety. So I know that for me to reach a point where I am somewhat in control of my anxiety, I need to eliminate the unhealthy coping mechanisms that are not only not helping my anxiety, but are in all likelihood making it worse. Eliminating alcohol will certainly be a lot easier for me than quitting smoking, but in the past, I have found that apps that track your progress and act as a diary of sorts are really helpful. So the app I'm using for alcohol is called I Am Sober, and the app I'm using for smoking is called Smoke Free. They are both free apps, although the Sober app, I believe, does have a paid pro version, but I find the free version to be more than adequate. The great thing about the Sober app is that it isn't just for alcohol, but any addiction, literally anything. Both apps have really great features that allow for some introspection and motivation. These are just the two that I have found have worked well for me in the past. They're easy to use and I really like their features. But there are tons of similar apps, and maybe smoking or drinking isn't your vice, but they have apps to help you eliminate any habit or even start a habit, like drinking more water or making your bed every day. It can be really helpful to see your progress and not want to break that progress and start all over. So the reason that I am choosing to be open about this is because I think the accountability would help. Like I said, I have tried quitting before, but it can be very easy to lie to yourself, have one bad day, and yes, bad days and setbacks do happen, but when you're really trying to make a change such as this, justifying a setback or pretending that it didn't happen doesn't do you any favors. Not only that, there are a lot of others who use the same unhealthy coping mechanisms who, like me, want to stop because we know it's not healthy and we know it doesn't help. But where do you start? And it's scary because you're literally making a choice to eliminate the only coping mechanisms you have. These coping mechanisms are like a security blanket. Yes, there are other healthier coping mechanisms, but it's difficult to eliminate the unhealthy ones when you don't yet have healthy ones. But you're not going to develop healthy ones while continuing to rely on the unhealthy ones. So to stay accountable, my intention is to upload weekly progress videos. So if you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss them. Now, on a final note, I do want to say that if you have an actual addiction to drugs or alcohol, please do not go cold turkey and rely on an app. Please seek out the help from the proper resources, be it a medical or mental health professional. I am not either, but it's my understanding that going cold turkey with a genuine addiction can have very serious consequences. So on that note, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.